Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am the Divine One and I'm bringing you yet another assortment. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. Today we'll be discussing the Hispanic panic as well as the art of telling people who didn't listen, I told you so. But let's get into Trump's 2025 deportation plan. My caramba, Miami is ground zero. Yes, you heard that right. Miami-Dade County. We're talking mass deportations, ICE raids in schools, and even Cubans who thought they were safe under MAGA getting the rug pulled right up from under them. Yes, they are. And let's not forget these mealy-mouthed liberals sitting on their hands while communities are being torn apart. You know the routine. Grab a seat, and if you're too young to be sitting up in grown folks' business, grab a high chair. And I'm gonna run these videos, and then there will be commentary at the end. Let's go.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said, let him cook.
And I'm sending a message for people that said they're going to get in our way. They're going to stop us from doing what we're doing on the interior enforcement operation. I've said it 100 times in the last week. Don't cross that line. Don't test us. The nation wants a safe country. We've had enough crime in this country, illegal alien crime. It's time to end it and stop it. President Trump's committed to it. He's committed to securing this border.
So the deportations start in Miami, huh?
Maybe Miami just entered the find out phase. But let's be honest, it makes total sense for the deportations to start in Miami. Number one, it is the county with the most deportation cases currently open in the United States. Number two, it is one of the least diverse counties in the country, not because there's so many white people, but because there's so many immigrants. There's a large concentration of undocumented people in Miami-Dade. And the chances are that if you live here, you know someone who's undocumented. But let's be clear, it's not just people who are illegal that might be at risk. It's DACA recipients, it's people on asylum, it's people on parole, and it's people under temporary protected status, not because they are illegal, but because the programs themselves might end before the documentation goes through. So personally, I would start seeking legal guidance.
Señores, grábense esto de memoria. El latino solo aprende a las malas. No aprende lecciones a las buenas, que tú le enseñes con pruebas y todo, no. El latino tiene que aprender a los golpes. Mira, que le estén pegando. Cuando ya tienen el pie aquí en el pescuezo, sí, suéltame, que lo están ahorcando. Ahí sí entienden. No hay de otra manera, solo a las malas. Y así va a tener que pasar con esta nueva administración de Donald Trump. Miren este artículo del Tallahassee Democrat. Ojo, no es un periódico demócrata. Es un periódico que se llama así desde hace 100 años, más de 100 años. Igual al Miami Herald, New York Times, Chicago Tribune, LA Times, etc. Ya se llama así. Este artículo dice, el plan de deportación de Donald Trump podría afectar más de 1.1 millones de personas en la Florida. Y lo más interesante es que los expertos de las leyes migratorias estadounidenses en este artículo dicen de que Donald Trump podría estar vigilando a la Florida y más que todo al condado Miami-Dade como la zona cero para hacer su plan de deportaciones masivas en el país. Y eso tiene mucha lógica, señores. Lo que pasa es que los latinos para Trump aquí en Miami, que votaron para ese viejo desgraciado, piensan que el plan de deportación no es con ellos, no es con sus familiares, no es con sus amigos, seres queridos, etc. Es con todo el mundo. Es con todo el mundo. Grábense eso en la cabeza. Porque lo que muchas personas dicen es, no, tú sabes, los indocumentados ilegales son aquella gente de Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, México que se saltan el muro y entran con coyote al país de manera ilegal. Fuera ilegales. Y sí, está bien. Esas personas están en el país de manera indocumentada. No les digo que no. Pero ¿saben también cuáles personas están en este país sin documentos? Los cubanos con I-20A, los cubanos que solicitaron asilo, les negaron ese asilo. Cuando usted, un juez de inmigración, le niega el asilo, usted está indocumentado en este país con una orden de deportación, para empezar. Solo que haga una apelación y un montón de cosas más. Las personas con parol humanitario, de Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, si a usted se le expira ese parol en este país y usted no hizo ningún otro trámite migratorio para poder quedarse de manera permanente, usted también está en este país de manera ilegal. Usted también es un indocumentado. ¿Me entiende? Entiendan, por favor, que Donald Trump es un supremacista blanco que aborrece a los latinos, aborrece a cualquier raza que no sea de ojos azules y de pelo rubio. Él quisiera eliminar la población latina de este país si fuera posible. Pero no lo puede hacer, obviamente. Entonces, lo mejor que puede hacer, deportar hasta el último. A él no le importa si su familiar, si su hijo, si su esposo, si su hermano de Cuba es buena persona, trabaja muy duro, tiene hijos aquí en este país. No le importa eso. No le importa que sea de Cuba, ni que en Cuba esté una dictadura. Lo van a deportar igual. Entonces, como les digo, lastimosamente tienen que padecer porque los errores tienen consecuencias. Y este error del volver a elegir este tipo, de la manera que los latinos aportaron con sus votos para volverlo a elegir, van a tener consecuencias y muy graves. Saludos y bendiciones, amigos.
¿Qué pasó ahí abajo?
Mass
En los
deportation
puestos,
is
hasta
coming
que
to
esa gente
Miami,
dice,
Florida.
bueno, no se fueron de ahí. Si eso no pasa aquí, ustedes van para afuera. ¿Ok?
Cubans thought that voting for Trump, they were exempt from being deported. No, you're going back to your country. You're going back to Cuba. You're going back to Nicaragua. You're going back to Mexico. You're going back to Colombia. You're going back to Venezuela. Eventually.
Exacto. Exacto, ¿no? No, y aquí hay muchas personas que no pueden ni caminar.
They're worried because they don't want to get deported back to their country. But unfortunately, Trump's policy, you're going back home, papo. Unfortunately. This is something serious.
¿Entiendes? Porque la bomba ahora casi ahí a menos de 17. De pronto.
Thank you for voting for Trump.
Aquí en el Versalles hay una gran fiesta. Observen aquí a mis espaldas, hay cientos de personas de esquina a esquina con banderas de Estados Unidos, con banderas de Donald Trump, y están diciendo básicamente que están contentos, primeramente porque Donald Trump ganó aquí en el condado Miami-Dade, también ganó en el estado Florida. Sin embargo, están conscientes que aún falta por esperar, falta por saber más durante la noche. Sin embargo, aquí la alegría se siente. Ahí en su mayoría son personas hispanas que han venido a apoyar a su candidato, repito, Donald Trump, aquí en el Versalles, que históricamente ha sido el epicentro del exilio cubano. Las personas aquí están diciendo básicamente que la política del presidente Donald Trump podría cambiar la política también internacional en países como Venezuela, como Cuba, como Nicaragua, y ese es básicamente el sentir aquí en este lugar, justo en el Versalles, donde hay, como decía, cientos de personas de esquina a esquina. Ahora continúo con ustedes. Muy buenas noches.
I want every single Democrat, liberal, and anti-mass deportation person out there to listen up. I do not buy for 1 second the garbage you all are trying to push. You keep coming on TV, making it seem like you're so sad about mass deportation, making it seem like you're so sad about the prospect of illegal immigrants being separated from their families. First off, let's just get one thing clear. The first ones to be deported are criminals, rapists, murderers, people who have come to this country, who have committed crimes in this country. I don't care if you are on the right, left, or in the middle. We should all agree that nobody who comes to this country should be committing crimes in this country, and that if you do come to this country and commit a crime in this country, you should be deported. Second of all, you all with this fake outrage over illegal immigrants being separated from their families. I want to know, where was your outrage over American citizens who couldn't feed their families during this administration? Because during the 4 years that Joe Biden has been in office, American Americans have been struggling to make ends meet. American citizens have been put last and sent to the back of the line, while the illegal aliens have been allowed to come into the front of the line. I want to know, where was your outrage for American citizens who have been set on the back burner, while illegal aliens who have not earned the right to be in this country have allowed to come on the front burner? Where was your outrage then? The fact is that not only are you all delusional, you're also full of garbage. And I think that everyone who wants the illegal aliens to stay in this country, you should be the one to pay for them, because American citizens who have been struggling to make ends meet and feed their own families should not be the ones forced to foot the bill for millions of illegal aliens. Since you all want them here, all of you liberals and Democrats and anti-mass deportation people out there, since you want them to stay here, why don't you take your paycheck and instead of using it to feed your family and pay your bills, use it to pay for the illegal aliens. Take all of your money, put it together. All of you anti-mass deportation people, put all of your money together into a pool and use it to fund the illegal immigrants. I want to see you do that. Since you are so dead set on resisting the mass deportation plan that millions of Americans want to see, why don't you pay for it? Because I shouldn't have to pay for it. I shouldn't have to pay for your foolishness. I shouldn't have to pay for your incompetence or the incompetence of this government. I shouldn't have to be forced to pay for it as a taxpayer. And no other American taxpayer who does not want these people here should be forced to foot the bill. See, it's wrong to tell somebody who is struggling to make ends meet, who is working 2 or 3 jobs to feed their own family, that their tax dollars are going to be used to fund an illegal immigrant and their family. And since some of you are for that, you should be the ones to pay for it. You should be the ones to put them up in your house. You should be the ones to pitch tents in your backyard and let them move in. You should be the ones to pay for it. And I think that since you should be the ones to pay for it, those of us who have been paying for it over the years, who did not want them to be here, you owe me money. You owe us back money. You owe us back the money that we spent on the illegal aliens who have been in this country illegally. We did not invite them here. We do not want them here. The majority of people in this country want to see mass deportation. And if you do not want to see mass deportation, not only should you pay for the people who are here illegally, you should issue a check to people who have been forced to pay for them, who do not want them here. You would still be anti-mass deportation then. If you had to come out of your pocket and take the money that you earned from your paycheck working 40 or 50 hours a week, I wonder how you would feel about that money going to an illegal immigrant. If you actually had to take it out of your paycheck and use it to fund somebody else, I wonder how you would feel about that.
We went through the desert and over the lake. Where do we go next?
Immigration, get on the goddamn ground!
You've been on our watch list for a long time, Dora. Now you, the map, and that backpack is getting deported. But before we do that, let's see what you got in this thing. Wow. Typical. You got all this random shit in here except for your green card. Where are your priorities, Dora? Oh, jackpot. No. Can you guys say no? Say no.
Just as I suspected. Smuggling Mexicans in your backpack.
La migra. Yeah, la migra. All right, boys, that's everything. Half of Mexico is probably in this bag. Lock it in a cage. And load up this dude and Dora the illegal, and let's keep it moving. This is just the beginning.
Child, I don't know what it is at this point. Maybe it's that good Coca-Cola. I don't know. I thought I heard somebody say in one of those videos who seek legal assistance, has Trump ever demonstrated before that he has the ability to follow the law? Child, let's get into it. If you've been paying attention, you know Miami-Dade County is set to take center stage in Trump's sweeping 2025 immigration plan. The very same Miami-Dade County that for the first time since 1988, a Republican presidential candidate won. Let's pause right there just to appreciate the irony. Donald Trump secured 55.2% of the vote, while Kamala Harris trailed behind at 43.71%. Yes, you heard that right. Miami-Dade, a county that's been a Democratic stronghold for decades, flipped red. Miami, of all cities, is slated to be the first in what can only be described as a targeted crackdown on immigrant community. You gotta appreciate how he rewards people who support him. A very interesting turn of events, I would say. Anyway, I guess DeSantis pontificating about states' rights only apply when it's an issue involving women's rights or women's free will. Let me paint the picture for you. Why Miami? Miami is no stranger to immigrant narratives. With a population that's nearly 70% Hispanic, it's a cultural melting pot where Spanish is just as common as English. But here's the catch. This isn't about preserving culture. This is about erasing certain ones. Miami is ground zero for a deportation spree targeting 1.1 million people labeled as illegal. But let's dig deeper. Not all those individuals are undocumented. The plan reportedly includes revoking legal work visas, turning law-abiding contributors into targets overnight. The same people harvesting your avocados, the ones putting food on your table, suddenly being treated like criminals. For all the avocado toast enthusiasts out there, this is where that brunch gets real. From schools to churches, no safe zones. Let me paint that picture really quick. Under Trump's revised policies, schools, hospitals, and churches that once considered off-limits to ICE raids are now fair game. Picture a scenario where children are yanked from classrooms or families are torn apart while attending Sunday Mass. It's a chilling thought, right? And it's a reality a lot of people may face real soon. According to Donald Trump, he's going to be doing these things on day one. He has a lot of things he's doing on January 20th. At Florida, Colorado, and Illinois are also in that lineup. I mean, what immigrants are we talking about there? It's not exactly the immigrant hub you think of, but okay, sure. Illinois makes more sense, especially since Florida and Texas had already been sending waves of immigrants there during the Biden administration. The irony is just delicious at this point. It is terrifying if you're Hispanic or Latin, or really anyone with immigrant status, but delicious none the same. This is happening because you have a liberal, mealy-mouthed Merrick Garland. Thank God he didn't become the Supreme Court justice. But he doesn't know how to fight. Remember Janet Reno? Say what you will, but she wouldn't have tolerated it. She'd have DeSantis and Abbott booked for human trafficking the minute they started shipping immigrants across state lines like packages. Today's liberals are mealy-mouthed and ineffective. Give me a 1980s liberal any day. But of all the states, California seems to be standing their ground. If you weren't born in this country, hell, if you were born in this country and you come from south of the border, you might want to start planning your underground railroad to California. California, meanwhile, is a glaring omission from Trump's immediate hit list. Why? Because California is built different. It's the state where no racial group holds the majority, and Latinos are on the brink of becoming the dominant demographic. California isn't going quietly into that good night, and Trump knows it. There's power in those numbers, and he's steering clear, at least for now. What about the Cubanos? Let's talk about the Cubanos. They were so special, huh? And what his name is, Angel Rodriguez. Look, here's the kicker. Trump secured an eye-popping 70% of the Cuban American vote, a demographic that's historically lean Republican but turned out in unprecedented numbers this time around. But even the Cubans, traditionally seen as untouchable due to the wet foot, dry foot policy, are in the crosshairs of Trump administration's immigration crackdown policy. It's going away. No exception. No mercy. Not even for MAGA hat-wearing Cubans who were out here caping for Trump during the election. It doesn't matter if you've got your poncho and your MAGA merch on. If your skin screams not European, you're on the deport. Continuing on with the Latin community, the writing was always on the wall. To my Latino men and my Latinas, spicy Latinas, who thought that aligning with Trump would somehow shield you, what were you thinking? Did you really think you'd be exempt? Okay, the clown makeup has been smeared at this point. And now you're left with this harsh reality of policies targeting you, your family, your neighbor, that you voted for. Don't forget that part. For those thinking this is just a Latino issue, this is just for the Hispanics. Yes, again, Caribbean immigrants, in particular, the Haitian communities, Jamaicans, are also on the line. The Trump administration doesn't care about your distinctions if you're not white. So let me be specific, because some people you have to hold a hand. To my Venezuelan, Colombians, and Brazilians who think your fair skin makes you honorary white folks, that's not how it works. The U.S. is about to remind you real quick, you're finding out the hard way what exclusion really looks like. There is no paper bag test over here. Donald Trump is sending ICE with buses and bad attitudes. But remember, you voted for this. ICE is coming. Not vanilla ice, not iced tea. The real ICE, sweeping through cities and towns, knocking on doors and changing lives forever. This isn't a drill, and it's certainly not the time for sitting on the sidelines. Well, black people will be sitting on the sidelines. Well, I'm sorry, 2025 to going forward. Unfortunately, this is how you voted. I don't know how you're gonna weed your way through that forest, but black people will not be leading the way. I understand on TikTok, some of you are mad because black people are laughing. The blacks are laughing at you. To those who thought aligning with Trump would save you, what now? Are we not supposed to laugh? On election day, Trump said, send in the clowns. And the Latinos and Latinas came with sombreros, ponchos, and full clown makeup. Are we not supposed to laugh at the clowns? You thought you were getting an invite to the Trump circus, but you were just the entertainment child. You was the help. You've just been served a reality check you tried to ignore, and you've entered in the find out phase of your vote. And that did not take long at all. I expected him to at least put on the charade for y'all. He hasn't even been inaugurated yet, and he already showing his entire wide ass. To the rest of us who saw this coming, hell, Stevie Wonder saw this coming. It's time to prepare. Keep your head on the swivel, but black people are standing down and standing by. So, adios. Well, it looks like our time is up. I thank you for making the time to go through it to the end with me. Like, share, and subscribe, please, and thank you.